In the vast expanse of the virtual reality universe known as the Omniverse, 14-year-old Ava Williams was a legend. Under her avatar name, Velocity Vixen, she had risen to the top of the leaderboards in every major racing game. With lightning-fast reflexes and an innate understanding of mechanics, she dominated every race, leaving competitors in the dust. It was during a high-stakes tournament, with thousands of spectators watching, that Ava received the message. A notification blinked in the corner of her HUD, an unfamiliar username, Shadow Operator. She hesitated for a split second, which in racing terms was an eternity, and narrowly avoided a collision. Midnight. The abandoned arcade. Come alone. The message disappeared as quickly as it had arrived, leaving Ava with a choice. She finished the race in first place, as usual, but her mind was elsewhere. Who was Shadow Operator? And what did they want? That night, long after her parents had gone to bed, Ava slipped out of her house and made her way to the abandoned arcade, a relic from the days before virtual reality had taken over. The place was a crumbling ruin, a ghost of a bygone era, but it still held a certain charm. At midnight precisely, a door creaked open, and a figure stepped out from the shadows. Tall and cloaked, the figure gestured for Ava to follow. They led her through a maze of dusty corridors until they reached a hidden room, filled with high-tech equipment that seemed out of place in the dilapidated building. Velocity Vixen, the figure said, removing their hood to reveal a young woman with sharp features and intense eyes. My name is Agent Quinn. I'm with a top-secret organization known as the Spectrum. We need your help. Ava's heart raced. My help? For what? Agent Quinn's expression was grave. The Prime Minister has been kidnapped by rogue generals. They plan to stage a coup and plunge the country into chaos. We need someone with your skills to drive the getaway vehicle and ferry the Prime Minister to safety. Ava's mind reeled. But I'm just a gamer. I drive virtual cars, not real ones. Quinn smiled. We know, and that's exactly why we chose you. The lines between virtual and reality are thinner than you think. Trust your instincts. Before Ava could protest further, she was led to a garage beneath the arcade. There, amidst the gleaming machines, was a vintage car, unlike anything she'd ever seen. It was a 1967 Shelby GT 500, sleek and powerful, but completely foreign to her. You'll drive this, Quinn said. It's been modified with the latest tech. You'll have all the tools you need. But remember, this isn't a game. The stakes are real. The mission was set to begin immediately. Ava was briefed on the route and the plan. Her role was to navigate through the city, evading the pursuing forces, and reach the extraction point at the pier. As they drove to the rendezvous point where the Prime Minister was being held, Ava's hands gripped the wheel tightly. Her heart pounded, but her mind was focused. She had faced high-pressure situations in the Omniverse countless times. This was just another race, she told herself. Another race with much higher stakes. The Prime Minister, a tall man with a dignified bearing despite his disheveled appearance, was quickly bundled into the back seat. Thank you, he said, his voice calm despite the circumstances. Ava nodded, too focused to respond. With a roar, the Shelby GT 500 surged forward. Almost immediately, they were pursued by black SUVs, their lights piercing the night. Ava maneuvered the car with expert precision, weaving through the narrow streets and alleyways of the city. The modifications to the car were extensive. A heads-up display projected onto the windshield, showing her optimal routes and potential hazards. A voice in her earpiece, Agent Quinn's, guided her through the maze of streets. Take the next left, Quinn instructed. A construction site. It will slow them down. Ava obeyed, the car skidding around the corner and into the dusty, debris-strewn site. The pursuing vehicles struggled to keep up, crashing into obstacles. But the respite was brief. Soon, more vehicles joined the chase, relentless in their pursuit. As they neared the pier, Ava could see the extraction point, a boat waiting at the end of the dock, engines running. But the pursuers were closing in, determined to prevent their escape. "Hold on," Ava shouted, more to herself than anyone else. She gunned the engine, the Shelby GT500 accelerating to its top speed. The pier loomed ahead, and Ava made a split-second decision. She aimed the car at the narrow boat ramp and prayed. The car hurtled onto the ramp, tires screeching as it launched into the air. For a heart-stopping moment, they were airborne, the boat beneath them. Then, with a bone-jarring crash, they landed on the deck of the boat. The force of the impact nearly sent them overboard, but the crew quickly secured the car. The Prime Minister was rushed below deck, and Ava, her hands still shaking, stepped out of the car. The boat was already moving, cutting through the water as the sun began to rise, casting a golden glow over the horizon. Exhausted, Ava sank onto a bench, her adrenaline fading. She looked around at the crew, all professionals, their faces set with determination. Agent Quinn approached, her expression one of gratitude and respect. "You did it," Quinn said. "You saved him. You saved us all." Ava nodded, too tired to speak. As the boat moved farther from the shore, she realized they were heading out to sea, away from the chaos and danger. She turned to Quinn, a question in her eyes. "Where are we going?" Quinn smiled. "To a safe place, where the Prime Minister can regroup and plan the next steps. And where you can rest. You've earned it, Velocity." Ava watched as the sun climbed higher, its light reflecting off the water. She had faced her greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But this was just the beginning.